Welcome to the area of composite figures video. So composite figures, I'll give you the formal definition here in just a second, but a composite figure is something kind of like this or this. We've seen these on the bellwork before. Remember, it's where you have to like draw the line to divide the two shapes and find the two different areas. It's been a couple of weeks since we saw one on bellwork, but we have seen these before. Okay, for the official definition, it's right here. A composite figure is a figure or a shape that is made up of multiple 2D shapes. So basically, it's a larger shape that's made up of a bunch of smaller shapes. So that's what this sentence here says. It can be divided into more than one basic shape. And a basic shape is going to be something like a rectangle, a triangle, parallelogram, trapezoid, something we know how to find the area of. So the composite shapes we'll see today are going to be made up of smaller shapes of things that we've learned about this week, things we know how to find the area of. So let's talk about the steps for finding the area of one of these things. We know that we have to separate the composite figure into smaller shapes. So if we look at that over here, this T, you could divide this several different ways. I'm just going to divide it into two different shapes. I can see that this top part here makes a rectangle. And down here I can do another rectangle. And it's like they're sitting side by side right there. Okay, once we have our shapes, and we could have divided this up different ways. We could have made a whole bunch of little squares, something like that, but I think it's easier to just have two shapes, two areas to find. Once we do that, we are going to find the areas we already know how to find. So we already know how to find the area of a rectangle. Area of a rectangle is length times width. You do that little curly L, length times width. Zoom in a little bit here. And to find the area of this pink rectangle, okay, I'll make a little pink area over here so you can keep these straight. The area for that one is going to be the length, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, times the width, which was 2. Okay, it's 6 long and 2 tall. So if I multiply those together, the area of that rectangle is 12 of these little squares, or 12 units squared. Okay, then if I look at the orange rectangle, it's going that way. The area of that one is 1, 2 long times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 10. So I know the area of this piece is 12 and the area of this one is 10. If I wanted to find how many little boxes were inside of here, would I times those together? No, that would be too many. We just have to add. I've got 10 little boxes right here, 12 right here. To find the total, I just add them together. So I'm going to do 12 plus 10, which gets me 22 units squared. So we look for areas we already know how to find, we find those areas, and then we add them together. Just like we did. We found an area, we found the other one, we multiply to find the area, but we add the areas together. Okay, let's look at another example. In today's video, these might be a little bit trickier than you're used to seeing, but we've learned how to find the areas now, so it's going to be a little bit easier. If I look at this first one here, there's a couple different ways I can divide it up. The first way would be to draw a line down the middle right there, and I can see that I have two different trapezoids that are identical, just one's upside down. Okay, we know how to find the area of trapezoids. I could find this base and this base, add those together, times by their height, and divide by 2. Is there another way to divide this up? Let's see. What if I draw a line this way color this in so you can see this a little bit better. Right here I've got 2 triangles and 2 rectangles, or I could combine all this together to be one large rectangle. And then over here I have a triangle. I personally think it's a little bit easier to find the area of a rectangle and a triangle than a trapezoid, but you can do it either way, you'll get the same answer. Let's use then this rectangle and this triangle and see what we get. The area of the rectangle is length times width, which is, it's 2 across, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tall. So 2 times 8 gives me 16 for the area of my rectangle. For my triangle, remember I'm going to do base times height divided by 2. So this triangle, we like to look at it with the point going up like this. So our base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boxes across. 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes tall. And divide by 2. So I have, sorry, that got kind of turned around. 8 times 4 divided by 2. 8 times 4 I know is 32. Divided by 2 is also 16. That won't always happen, but it did in this case. So this area here is 16, this area here is 16. So I've got to add those together. 16 plus 16 is 32 units squared. That's the area of that one. That means that inside of here there's 32 little boxes. Some of these are cut in half, so those would combine together to make a full box. Okay, let's look at this next one. There's multiple ways to divide this up. The one that stands out to me is to just drop this straight down. And now we see that we have a triangle and a trapezoid. Okay, we can do this one. Let's start with our trapezoid. Okay, the area for a trapezoid, remember that formula, you do base 1 plus base 2. I saw a lot of you try and times those today. Make sure you add them, multiply by the height, and divide by 2. Plugging in our numbers, bases, remember those are the 2 parallel sides. It's going to be this side here. I'll highlight this so you can see it. Base 1 and base 2, the 2 parallel sides. Okay, those are your bases. Base 1 is how many squares this goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Base 2 is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, those are my 2 bases. Those add together. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more here for you. Focus that back out. Okay. We're going to multiply by our height, which is how far it is across. So from base to base is 1, 2, 3 across. And we divide by 2. Okay, now I follow my order of operations. 8 plus 4 is 12. Times 3 divided by 2. 12 times 3 is 36. Divided by 2, and 36 divided by 2 is 18. So that one's 18 units. Okay, now I need to find the area of the triangle. Remember, you have to find the area of both pieces. The formula for that is base times height divided by 2. Okay, I see my base right here is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll plug that into my formula. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4 tall. That's my height. So I have base times height, 4 times 4 divided by 2. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So I have 18 plus 8. When I add those two together, 18 plus 8 gives me 26 units squared for the total area of this right here. That would be 8. All added together is 26. Okay, this last one, we're not going to find the area of this. What I want you to do is find a different ways to divide this up. You could do 2 trapezoids, you could do a couple triangles and a rectangle. I will let you decide how you want to divide this up, and then I'll have you show me when I check your notes. So make sure you draw those shapes in. Okay, number 1 on our together, they've already divided the 2 shapes up for us. See how we have a rectangle and a parallelogram? For the rectangle, remember the area is length times width. So on this rectangle, our length is 15 and our width is 7. If we multiply those together, 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 10. We get 105. This is going to be yards squared. Okay, now we need to find the area of our parallelogram, the second part of this. Okay, remember the area of a parallelogram is base times height, and height is the one that drops straight down with the right angle. So we know on this one that the height is 5. How do we know what the base is? It's going to be this length here, or this length. They didn't tell us, but we can figure it out right here. Since this is a rectangle, I know that these 2 sides are equal in length, so my base has to be 15. 15 times 5, I'll work that out up here. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7, so I get 75 yards squared. And I do 105 plus 75 right here. 5 plus 5 is 10, 1 plus 7 is 8, and 1. So I have 180 yards squared. Okay, so all I did is I found the area right here. 15 times 7 is 105. Then I found this area. 15 times 5 is 75. Add those 2 together to get 180 yards squared. Okay, number 2, there's 2 ways we can do this. So first off, you probably notice this is just a trapezoid. Can't we do that? Yes, you can find the area of the trapezoid and get your answer. If we did that, so I'm going to write the trapezoid. I'll show you both ways quick. If we did that, we would add our 2 bases, so 8 plus 4 times our height divided by 2. So right here I get 12 times 4. 12 times 4 is 48, divided by 2 gets me 24. Okay, that's if I do it finding the area of a trapezoid. Another way, since this is all straight edges over here, is I can divide this and have a square and a triangle. Okay, some of you might think this way is easier, some of you might like the trapezoid way. I'll let you choose which way you like to do it. On this one, to find the area of the square, I multiply my sides together, side squared, 4 times 4 gives me 16 for this area here. Okay, which means that this triangle here, since this side was 4, this side over here is 4, so my base is 4. My height, if this total length is 8, and this part of it here is 4, that side there's got to be 4 as well. So my area for my triangle is base, which was 4, times height, which is 4, divided by 2. Okay, that makes sense. It looks like just half of the square, so it's going to be half of that area. 16 divided by 2, which is 8, or half. 16 plus 8 is also 24. Remember your units, centimeters squared. So we get the same answer. It doesn't matter which way we do it, we get the same answer. Okay, you don't have to do it both ways. You pick one. You can do the trapezoid way or the composite figure way. Okay, over here, you've got 2 different shapes. You're going to decide how to break it up. Right here, it looks like you could have a rectangle and a trapezoid. Maybe you can find another way to break it up. This one is a little bit trickier. We haven't seen one with 3 shapes yet, but you'll do the same thing. You've got a rectangle right here, length times width, triangle right here, 1/2 base times height, and a trapezoid. Base 1 plus base 2 times height divided by 2. Find all 3 areas and add them together. Let me know if you have questions. Bye.